Red is among the most popular colors for floral bouquets around the globe, and for good reason. While we know its association with anger and danger, the color red is also synonymous with passion and love. However, red flowers from around the world have more varied meanings. Even more so, they are not limited to the appeal of romance. Red is the color of blood, which symbolizes familial ties, but red blooms serve more than to woo lovers. They can also be beautiful gifts and symbology to show appreciation and care for your relatives. Not to mention the bright color of red flowers make a striking, bold impact in any garden. So whether you're thinking about the perfect token for your loved one or want to plant crimson blooms in your yard, this article is for you. Keep reading as we feature the most beautiful red flowers from around the world. 40 most beautiful flowers in the world and their names and pictures. 1. Alstroemeria. Scientific name: Alstroemeria. Also known as the lily of the Incas or Peruvian lily. Alstroemeria is a perennial plant with conical flowers that come in bright red-orange hues and other colors like pink, yellow, white and peach. Alstroemerias are also known to be among the most resilient red flowers around the world. If you use their blooms as cut flowers, you can expect them to last for up to 3 weeks in a vase. When planting Peruvian lilies, choose fertile soil with good drainage. This way, you can grow the plant in moist conditions. Moreover, select a spot that gets full to partial shade. You can expect your Alstroemeria to produce beautiful blooms from the end of the spring towards the beginning of summer. Moreover, they tend to be bushy, spreading up to 2 feet wide. If you're a casual gardener, you'll love Alstroemeria because they're easy to grow and maintain. Give it an inch of water per week to keep the soil moist. Moreover, during the growing season, give it a balanced flower fertilizer. 2. African daisy. Scientific name: Osteospermum. The African daisy is one of the most beautiful red flowers from around the world. As its name suggests, African daisies natively grow in southern parts of Africa. They resemble common daisies, with beautiful petals sprouting from a central disc. Like zinnias and Shasta daisies, African daisies belong to the Asteraceae family. While they share the same dainty look as classic daisies, their vivid coloring sets them apart from other species within their plant family. Because of their bright hue, many people thought they were dyed when they were first introduced to the market. After all, their central discs often look as if they are adorned with metallic paint. African daisies do not require extensive maintenance, especially when they are growing in ideal conditions. They will thrive whether you plant them in the ground or a container. Moreover, don't forget to choose well-draining soil and a sunny spot in your garden. You can expect your African daisies to peak from the end of spring to the start of summer. To encourage reblooming, remember to deadhead the plants. 3. Anemone. Scientific name: Anemone. Also referred to as a windflower, anemone is a perennial plant that natively grows in subtropical and temperate regions. They have poppy-like petals with a curved shape radiating from a dark button center. While anemones do not live long, they are still popular among novice and experienced gardeners. After all, they can be cultivated easily, adding a bright appeal to your garden. You can plant your anemone as garden borders, but they also look great as cut flowers in your vase. Remember that its flowers are not cold tolerant, so they only bloom towards the end of spring. Moreover, make sure that you choose sandy soil with adequate drainage. 4. Amaryllis. Scientific name: Amaryllis. Because of their ability to survive through harsh winter conditions, amaryllis flowers have always been associated with determination, pride and strength. They have strappy leaves and huge blooms that look like trumpet lilies. While their most common color is deep red, you'll also see them in white, pink or a blend of those hues. Usually, amaryllis can produce blooms for over a month. Remember that the care procedure for amaryllis will vary depending on where you cultivate the plant. For instance, if you're growing it outdoors, choose a location with full sun or partial shade. Moreover, you should only water when the soil is dry to touch. If you're planting indoors, you should use a sandy loam potting mix with good drainage. Moreover, keep the soil moist as they grow. Once the bulbs start to grow, move them to a sunny window. Also, don't forget to stake the flower stalks to ensure they won't lean. 5. Aster. Scientific name: Symphyotrichum novi belgi. There are over 170 species in the Aster genus, but we will specifically discuss the one that also goes by names like New York Aster and Royal Ruby. This perennial flowering plant has deep red petals that radiate around a golden center. Natively growing in North America, asters bloom at the end of summer until the beginning of fall. To add a cheerful vibe to your garden, you should plant asters. They also attract pollinators because of their sweet nectar. So, expect an interesting show of butterflies, bees and even birds when the plants start blooming. Asters thrive under the full sun, but they can also survive in partially shaded areas. Make sure you use averagely moist soil with good drainage. Moreover, choose a spot that gets adequate air circulation because asters are prone to developing powdery mildew. 6. Anthurium. Scientific name: Anthurium. Natively growing in the tropical Americas, Anthurium is a flowering species belonging to the Araceae plant family. Also known as flamingo flower, laceleaf and tailflower, this plant produces glossy, heart-shaped foliage along with flowers consisting of spathas that commonly come in red. Even so, you'll find anthuriums in other hues like pink, white, yellow and even purple. Anthuriums are pretty easy to grow indoors and outdoors as long as you choose a spot that gets plenty of indirect sunlight. Moreover, you must use well-draining, moist soil enriched with organic matter to encourage healthy growth. Like our enchanting natives arrangement, your anthuriums can easily add a wonderful tropical touch to your garden. 7. Bleeding hearts. Scientific name: Lamprocapnos spectabilis. Also known as fallopian buds, bleeding hearts are flowering shrubs that natively grow in Korea, Japan, Siberia and China. They bloom in late spring, usually growing up to 3 feet tall and 2 feet wide. Before the leaves emerge, you'll see red to pink flowers with a puffy heart shape. These blooms dangle downward under the plant's arching stems. Once you've started cultivating bleeding hearts, you'll understand why it received the Royal Horticulture Society's Award of Garden Merit. After all, it is quite easy to grow and maintain. Use humus-rich, fertile soil with a slightly alkaline pH. Moreover, choose a spot that gets partial shade throughout the day. Bleeding hearts look great in woodland gardens, but they are also ideal as yard borders. While they aren't toxic, it's best to wear gloves when handling them. Bleeding hearts foliage can worsen any existing skin allergies. Bleeding hearts are one of the most unique and exquisite red flowers from around the world. 8. Begonia. Scientific name: Begonia. Many consider begonias as a garden classic, especially since they easily grow in various conditions. So, whether you're a new plant parent or an expert, you'll be rewarded with beautiful foliage and flowers. Besides, it is perfect for anyone who wants variety in their garden. Some begonias produce single flowers, while others have double blooms. Note that there are over 2,000 flowering species under the begonia genus. Moreover, they vary in appearance. Even so, most of them produce showy, attractive blooms in different colors, including red, yellow, pink and orange. Most types of begonias prefer indirect sunlight or shaded areas. They will grow well as long as you choose soil with good drainage and organic matter. Don't forget to deadhead regularly to encourage more beautiful blooms. 9. Blood sage. Scientific name: Salvia coccinea. Blood sage is an herbaceous perennial that natively grows throughout the Caribbean, Mexico, the northern area of South America and the southeastern United States. It is one of 900 species in the sage or mint plant family. Moreover, it produces scallop leaves along with deep red, tube-shaped flowers. While blood sage has flowers that resemble pineapple sage, its blooms are not edible. One way to know if the flowers are edible is by crushing one of them. If it smells like grass or sage, do not eat it. If you get a pineapple scent from the flower, it's edible. Blood sage plants look great as a garden border. Moreover, it's ideal for mass planting, mainly since it attracts pollinators like bees and butterflies. Make sure that yours will get at least 6 hours of full sun each day, and choose sandy and slightly acidic soil that drains well. 10. Azalea. Scientific name: Azalistrum azaleas. Are evergreen shrubs that natively grow in certain parts of Asia, Europe and North America. During the blooming season, they produce papery, fluttery flowers that come in shades of red, white and pink. Remember that while azaleas are beautiful to look at, they can be highly toxic to humans and animals. So, You should wear proper protection when handling them and keep them away from pets and children. If you plan on cultivating azaleas, choose acidic soil with good drainage. We recommend taking samples to ensure that the soil has an acidic pH. Moreover, ensure that your azalea receives at least 4 hours of sunlight. However, place it in a partially shaded area if it gets too hot in your location. Otherwise, the flowers will wilt. Keep watching for more red flowers from around the world. 11. Calla lily. Scientific name: Xanthodecia. Natively growing in southern Africa, Calla lily is a perennial plant with exotic-looking spathes that look like flowers. Despite its common name, it is not a true lily, and it belongs to the Xanthodecia genus. While the flowers sold in the market are usually white, you'll also find them in pink, yellow and red. When in season, flower shops often sell purple calla lilies. To encourage blooms, choose moist, rich and well-draining soil. Moreover, you should water the established rhizomes at least once a week. Remember that potted calla lilies dry out sooner than those planted directly in the ground. So, make sure that the soil is adequately moist. 12. Callistemon. Scientific name: Callistemon. Also known as bottlebrush, callistemons are shrubs and trees with a sweet scent and nectar that attract butterflies and birds. Natively growing in Australia, this evergreen plant produces blooms with thistle petals that are distinctively bright red. While the shrubs grow between 3 and 15 feet tall, some gardeners prune certain species and train them to reach up to 25 feet high. What's great about these red Australian flowers is they are almost pest-free. However, you might still encounter the occasional mealybugs, spider mites and scale insects. Even so, planting them can be rewarding, not only for the aesthetics of your garden but also for your health. For instance, a study published in the Asian Pacific Journal of Tropical Medicine found that callistemon extracts have antibacterial and antifungal properties. When cultivating callistemons, use slightly acidic soil with good drainage. Moreover, you should choose a spot with at least 6 hours of full sun. 13. Cardinal flower. Scientific name: Lobelia cardinalis. Also known as the Queen Victoria plant, the cardinal flower is an herbaceous perennial that natively grows across the Americas. The plant received its common name because its blooms have the same red color as the robes that Roman Catholic cardinals wear. You'll usually see their bright red flowers in late summer, and they continue to occur until the middle of autumn. Cardinal flowers thrive in moist areas, along ponds or streams and in shaded gardens. It effectively adds height and beauty to borders while attracting pollinators and hummingbirds. You'll love how they produce a terminal of flower spikes. When planting cardinal flowers, make sure that you use rich, wet soil. It will grow best under full sun and partial shade. When the temperature drops dramatically, protect the root system by adding mulch. Moreover, never let the soil dry out. 14. Camellia. Scientific name: Camellia japonica. With over 30,000 cultivars, camellias come in various colors and forms. However, the one we're going to discuss here is the Japanese camellia, which is a flowering shrub that comes from the family Theaceae. Its blooms are larger and more densely compacted towards the floral disc. You'll see golden stamens coming out of the ruffled petals of red camellia blooms. Moreover, the plant profusely produces spring flowers, lasting for several months. If you properly care for your camellia, it may continue blooming until the wintertime. Use well-draining soil with an acidic pH. Moreover, ensure that it is enriched with organic compost. Remember that camellias do not like the full sun. So, choose a spot that gets partial shade most of the day. 15. Canna lily. Scientific name: Canna. Canna lilies are tropical and subtropical plants with dramatic foliage and flashy blooms. These perennials can come in various colors, including red, orange, yellow, pink and cream. Moreover, they can grow up to 6 feet tall, making a striking addition as a container plant on your patio or as a garden border. Canna lilies are not true lilies, and they grow from rhizomes instead of bulbs. Besides, when you arrange them as cut flowers, they look more like a bouquet of irises. Various symbolic meanings are often associated with them. They can signify hope, glory, beauty, purity and even confidence. Ideally, canna lilies should be planted in a 6.5 pico-Henry soil. However, they can still survive in various soil types as long as it has good drainage. During the growing season, don't forget to feed your canna lilies with phosphorus-rich fertilizers at least once a month. 16. Coneflowers. Scientific name: Echinacea. Coneflowers are perennials that produce lightly fragrant blooms. The flowers have overlapping, wide and drooping petals that radiate from a brown central disc. Moreover, the plant has a branching growth habit, producing several flowering stems that can hold upright and sturdy. You can expect coneflowers to bloom profusely throughout the summer season. Even so, they sporadically produce flowers until winter. Choose a spot that gets at least 6 hours of sunlight in your garden. Moreover, coneflowers prefer growing in moist, well-draining soil. Since they look like wildflowers, they can be a great addition to cottage gardens. If you want to encourage abundant blooms, remove the spent flowers. Besides, coneflowers look great as cut flowers in vases. However, if you forget to deadhead the plant, the blackened cones will attract birds. So, even with spent coneflowers, you'll still enjoy a beautiful show in your garden. 17. Columbine. Scientific name: Aquilegia canadensis. Columbines are branching perennials that can grow up to 3 feet tall. They can produce bell-like flowers with spurred petals and several yellow stamens. Moreover, their sweet nectar attracts hummingbirds and long-tongued insects. Certain Native American communities take crushed columbine seeds and rub them on men's hands as a love charm. Red columbines, particularly Aquilegia canadensis, are often referred to as the flower of the masses. Once you've cultivated a well-established plant, it will keep propagating for several years. Columbines can grow in any type of soil, but they will thrive in loamy and sandy areas. As long as you choose well-draining soil, the plant will survive. Moreover, choose a partially shaded spot that gets in direct sunlight. They need to be protected when the summer sun gets too harsh. Columbines are one of the best-kept secrets of the red flowers from around the world. 18. Chrysanthemum. Scientific name: Chrysanthemum. There are hundreds of chrysanthemum species, but most look like dainty daisies or cheerful pom-poms. While white mums are the most common in the market, you also see them in various colors, including red, orange, yellow and purple. The best part is that they are easy to grow and maintain. They will add character and joy to your garden borders or beds. Besides, they attract butterflies. So, you can expect a wonderful show in your yard once your mums bloom. Chrysanthemums are hardy perennials, but they take time to grow when planted in the ground. Choose well-draining soil enriched with compost or organic matter. Moreover, chrysanthemums grow best in moist soil. So, when the soil feels dry to touch, water it. 19. Cockscomb. Scientific name: Celosia. Belonging to the amaranth family, cockscomb is an herbaceous plant that gardeners usually cultivate for ornamental use. While many people love it for its bright colors, this plant is also treasured because it is relatively easy to grow. Besides, even as dried flowers, cockscombs can retain their colors. So, you can use them as floral decorations in your home for a long time. When planting cockscombs, choose fertile soil with good drainage. Moreover, they grow best in slightly acidic soil pH under the full sun, while the plant can survive under partial shade. Too much of it can cause excessive moisture and, eventually, root rot and fungus. Every month during the growing season, add liquid fertilizer to encourage wonderful blooms. 20. Carnation. Scientific name: Dianthus caryophyllus. Carnation is an herbaceous plant that produces loosely tufted and fragrant flowers. Natively growing in the Mediterranean, its blooms can come in various colors, including pink, cream, yellow, white and red. If you want to brighten your patio or garden, carnations are a great option. When it comes to high school dance corsages, carnations always come to mind. Despite that, the symbolism of the flower depends on its color. For instance, if you want to express deep love and devotion, give your loved one a bouquet of red carnations. Carnations are generally short-lived perennials. However, with the ideal conditions, they can keep producing blooms for several years. You don't have to use mulch, but if you do, choose a natural product. Moreover, Remember to deadhead after the first bloom to encourage abundant flowers. Carnations are amongst the most traditional and loved red flowers from around the world. 21. Cypress vine. Scientific name: Ipomoea quamoclid. Cypress vine is an annual plant that belongs to the morning glory family and natively grows in the tropics of South America. In Chinese folklore, its flowers are often associated with restricted love. In general, they symbolize unrequited love or unending love. The plant's creeping growth habit and dainty flowers can still bring a unique look to your garden. So, even if you're not a hopeless romantic, you might be interested in planting cypress vines. Cypress vines are considered an annual. Despite that, their self-seeding ability technically makes them perennials. Once you've planted them, you can expect them to return year after year. However, remember that their vines aggressively climb once they start blooming. So, you should be careful not to turn yours into an invasive plant. Choose evenly moist, well-draining, and fertile soil when planting your cypress vine. Once it is established, it can tolerate drought and even survive without regular fertilizer application. Choose a spot with at least 6 hours of sun throughout the day. Moreover, install a trellis by the plant to give it something to climb on. Otherwise, it will end up becoming ground cover. Keep watching for more red flowers from around the world. 22. Cosmos. Scientific name: Cosmos. Because of its ruby red, small blooms, cosmos is also referred to as rubenza. Natively growing in Mexico, these flowering annuals can be hardy. You can expect them to bloom throughout the summer and even until the end of autumn. You'll love the sunny and refreshing look of cosmos flowers. Because they easily brighten any space, they are perfect as borders or a pop of color in flower beds and containers. Whether you have a summer or cottage garden, cosmos flowers will add character to your place. Cosmos usually attracts pollinators, so, when you plant it in masses, you can expect a wonderful show of butterflies and bees in your garden. In general, they are resistant to pests. However, you should still watch out for aphids and slugs. When planting cosmos, choose a soil with good drainage and medium moisture. Note that this flowering annual usually grows too tall in rich soil, causing it to flop over. Once your cosmos is established, you don't have to water it too often. 23. Red passion flower. Scientific name: Passiflora racemose. Once you've tried growing red passion flowers, you'll understand why they deserve the Royal Horticulture Society's Award of Garden Merit. They develop vines that can quickly grow up to 30 feet in length. Moreover, they are easy to cultivate. You don't even have to train the vines. However, make sure you install trellises along the plant if you don't want it to damage your fence or brickwork. This evergreen flowering vine produces leaves with 3 lobes, making them look like dinosaur tracks. However, what makes this plant interesting is its flower. It has pinnate petals and a fringed corona that comes in purple and white. While red passion flowers have a tropical appeal, you can grow them almost in any condition. In some areas, their vines can grow along the roads. In warmer climates, for instance, certain passion flower species can spread aggressively. Red passion flowers thrive under the full sun or partial shade. Make sure to use well-draining, fertile soil. During the growing season, you should water the plant freely to keep the soil moist. However, once your red passion flower is established, it can grow to tolerate drought. 24. Poppy. Scientific name: Papaveraceae. When you want to have flowers that love to stand out, consider growing red poppies. While they are delicate and grassy, you can easily recognize their unique blooms. Besides, these flowers have a deep and long history. Aside from being used to commemorate and honor lost loved ones, these flowers were also used as natural remedies for health issues like cough and insomnia. In ancient times, people collected their seeds to make opium. To keep your poppies happy, give them plenty of sunlight. Moreover, they prefer growing in sandy soils with good drainage and average quality. What you'll love about red poppies is how easy it is to grow and maintain them. Because they are drought tolerant, these herbaceous flowering plants is perfect for the lazy or even novice gardener. 25. Petunia. Scientific name. Petunia. Natively growing in South America, Petunia is a flowering perennial plant with a trailing growth habit. It is quite popular as a garden plant, especially since you can grow it in window boxes and hanging baskets. Most varieties you'll find in the market are cultivars and hybrids that have been bred for their large blooms, color combinations and bright shades. Now, if you want to give your significant other a gift that will communicate your affection, get them red petunias. After all, they represent intense and passionate love. Whether you give them as a potted plant, arrangement or even seeds, they can easily be appreciated by the recipient. If you want your red petunias to bloom profusely, make sure they get at least 6 hours of full sunlight. Don't worry if the location gets partial shade in the afternoon because your plants will still survive. However, remember to use humus-rich and well-draining soil. Moreover, deadhead the wilted flowers to encourage healthy growth. Petunias are one of the most iconic red flowers from around the world. 26. Poinsettia. Scientific name. Euphorbia pulcherrima. When you see poinsettia, you probably think about the holiday season. Natively growing in Central America and Mexico, this shrub is a popular ornamental plant during Christmas time. Its uppermost leaves turn red, making them look like flowers. However, the yellow stamen-looking centers are the actual flowers of poinsettia plants. Because poinsettia plants belong to the Euphorbia family, many mistakenly assume that they are incredibly toxic. However, studies show that even ingestion of the plant doesn't lead to serious illnesses or deaths. So, it is safe to have poinsettia in your garden even if you have pets or children around. Poinsettias thrive under the full sun, but they can also tolerate partial shade. Moreover, remember to choose well-draining, loamy soils with neutral to alkaline pH. While poinsettias tolerate drought, you still need to watch it cautiously and protect it from pests. So, in some ways, it can still require high maintenance. The poinsettia is most famous for its association with Christmas, and one of the most festive red flowers from around the world. 27. Peony. Scientific name. Peonia. If you're looking for a stunning alternative to roses, consider getting a bouquet of red peonies. They also symbolize love and passion, making them the perfect romantic gesture for your significant other. Now, red peonies do not always have to be associated with romance. In Chinese culture, they signify luck and joy, making them the ideal decor for boosting the vitality of your home environment. While peonies are available in red, they also grow in various colors, including white, pink, lavender, yellow and apricot. However, if you prefer the shades leaning towards red, some of the popular options include the Red Emperor, Buckeye Bell and Flame. Remember that peonies prefer growing under the full sun. However, if you live in a warmer area, they'll need partial shade. Moreover, you must choose well-draining soils with neutral to acidic pH. Don't forget to stock up on compost or fertilizers because peonies prefer fertile soil. 28. Orchids. Scientific name. Orchidaceae. Is your loved one having a bad day? You can uplift their mood by sending them a bouquet of red orchids. Certain meanings are associated with different orchids, and the red ones signify strength and courage. So, gifting them a bunch of these wonderful crimson blooms will encourage them to get through a difficult time. Note that there are over 28,000 plant species in the orchid plant family Orchidaceae. Moreover, within that plant family are 763 genera, including what homeowners commonly grow, Dendrobium and Phalaenopsis. If you're planning to grow orchids, make sure to choose a spot that gets bright, indirect light. Moreover, they will thrive in a lightweight growing medium that allows fast drainage. We recommend creating your own potting mix by combining sphagnum moss, peat, bark and perlite. Orchids are one of the pet-friendly red flowers from around the world. 29. Lycoris. Scientific name. Lycoris radiata. Also known as red spider lily and equinox flower, Lycoris is a bulbous perennial that natively grows in Korea, Japan, China and Nepal. While the plant is not invasive, it quickly and vigorously spreads. So, it can be a perfect option for interplanting with other perennials and annuals. It will provide a beautiful splash of red towards the end of summer until the beginning of autumn. Keep in mind that red spider lilies do not like being moved. So, when you choose a spot for them, ensure the location will be permanent. Otherwise, you'll risk killing the plants. Use well-draining soil enriched with organic matter. Moreover, each bulb must be planted about 8 inches away from each other to encourage abundant flowers. Keep the soil moderately moist once the growing season has begun. Moreover, once spring comes, add a high nitrogen fertilizer. Doing so will give your Lycoris the nutrients it needs for the blooming season. 30. Hellebore. Scientific name: Helleboris. If you're the type of gardener who likes a challenge, you'd find cultivating hellebores interesting. They are quite infamous for being difficult to grow. However, don't fret because you'll still find certain hybrids that are easier to cultivate. So, if you lack the expertise yet still want to see those rich red blooms with yellow stamens, you can still find hellebore varieties for beginners. Because hellebores have strikingly thick foliage, their flowers can bring a wonderful contrast to your garden. They usually grow up to 2 feet tall and start producing blooms around spring. When planting hellebores, be sure to stock up on fertilizers and compost. They thrive in well-draining, nutrient-rich soil. Moreover, they prefer neutral to alkaline soil pH. While hellebores need moist soil while they grow, you should be careful not to overwater. Otherwise, the plant may develop root rot. However, once hellebores become established, they are quite tolerant to drought. It's not surprising why Gerber flower arrangements are popular amongst the masses. For one, they come in various colors, making them perfect gifts for all occasions. You can send yellow Gerberas to someone celebrating their birthday. Meanwhile, to express your eternal love, you can give them a bouquet of red Gerber daisies. 31. Gerber daisies. Scientific name: Gerber. While Gerbers originated from South Africa, the most common variants we see in the market are the result of hybridization. In warmer areas, they are considered tender perennials. However, in locations that experience winter, they are treated as annuals. If you don't have experience growing Gerber daisies, you can purchase them as seedlings. However, you can also find varieties that can easily be grown from the seed. Choose well-draining soil with a pH level of around 5.5. Moreover, make sure that the spot gets at least 6 hours of sunlight per day. However, the planting area should get partial shade if the heat gets too intense. Gerbers are one of the most popular and favorite red flowers from around the world. 32. Gloxinia. Scientific name: Gloxinia. Gloxinias usually bloom throughout the spring and summer seasons. However, if you know how to care for them properly, they can produce flowers throughout the year. You can expect bell-shaped, velvety blooms around 3 inches in diameter. Natively growing in Central America, the Andes and the West Indies, this herbaceous plant can produce flowers in various colors, including pink, blue, purple and shades of red. Before you cultivate Gloxinias, you should be aware that they don't produce flowers as profusely as their first blooming season. So, if you're expecting abundant flowers all the time, you must be prepared to replace your plants every now and then. Unlike other red flowers from around the world, Gloxinias do not prefer the full sun. So, choose a spot that gets indirect light to encourage healthy growth. Moreover, use slightly acidic soil with good drainage to keep it moist throughout the growing and blooming period. However, when watering the soil, be careful not to get the leaves too wet. Otherwise, they may start to brown. 33. Gladiolus. Scientific name: Gladiolus. Natively growing in Asia, Africa, and the Mediterranean, Gladiolus is a flowering perennial that belongs to the iris family. Its name originated from the Latin word gladius, which translates to sword in English. Aptly put, the plant produces spikes of trumpet-shaped blooms that come in different colors, including red, pink, yellow and white. Gladioli prefer growing under the full sun. So, choose a sunny spot in your garden if you're planning to cultivate them. While they may survive under partial shade, they won't produce as many blooms. You can choose any type of soil for your gladioli as long as it has good drainage. Moreover, they need to be watered once a week. While gladioli are reasonably low maintenance, you can opt to get them as cut flowers. For example, you can buy our classic arrangement, which comes with 5 stems of gladioli and other flowers like roses and oriental lilies. This way, you can have fresh blooms delivered to your doorstep the same day you ordered them. 34. Gaillardia. Scientific name: Gaillardia x grandiflora. Also known as blanket flower, Gaillardia is a hybrid species of herbaceous perennials from the Asteraceae family. While its blooms usually come in gradients of yellow and red, this specific variant has an intense red color. Natively growing across the Americas, Gaillardias are rich in nectar, which makes them attractive to pollinators. So, aside from having red hues that stay vibrant throughout the blooming season, you also have a wonderful butterfly show in your garden. Gaillardias are branching plants that grow upright and strong. Moreover, they can be cultivated in a compact mound, reaching up to 22 inches wide and around 16 inches tall. Whether you're planting them in a cottage garden or as perennial borders, they will effectively add life to your green space. When planting Gaillardias, choose well-draining, sandy soil. While they can survive drought, they grow best in moist soil. So, don't forget to water them regularly. 35. Freesia. Scientific name: Freesia. If you're looking for the best scented flowers you can give as gifts, consider getting a bouquet of Freesia. Aside from being fragrant and lovely, they also signify friendship. So, it can be a great gesture to let your buddy know that they're in your thoughts. Besides, they last long as cut flowers, making them ideal for adding a splash of color to any room for an extended period. While Freesia can tolerate some shade, they are still full sun perennial plants. So, make sure that they get a good amount of sunlight throughout the day. Moreover, choose well-draining soil enriched with nutrients. This way, you can expect them to profusely bloom. Freesia are quite easy to cultivate and maintain. However, if you're thinking of a last-minute gift for your pal, you can get them a box of yellow roses and Freesia. When you order from Flowers Across Melbourne, you can have them delivered the same day. 36. Dahlia. Scientific name: Dahlia coccinea. While dahlias natively grow in Mexico, they have been cultivated around the world for their attractive and vibrantly red flowers. They also come in other colors, including purple, yellow, orange and pink. So, dahlias provide a stunning contrast against a mass of dark green foliage. If you want to welcome a pop of color in your garden from summer to fall, you should consider planting dahlias. Red dahlias have been known to signify perseverance and resilience. So, you can give them to someone recovering from an illness or going through a rough patch. The flowers will serve as a reminder and encouragement that they can rely on their inner strength to help them get through dark times. When planting dahlias, choose a spot that gets at least 6 hours of sunlight every day. However, make sure that they are still in a partially shaded area when summers get too hot. During the growing season, your dahlia will need consistent moisture. Moreover, keep it out of your pet's reach as it can be toxic to dogs and cats. 37. Roses. Scientific name: Rosa spp. Various meanings are associated with rose colors. However, if you want flowers that truly speak love, passion and adoration, red roses are the perfect choice. Note that there are over 300 species under the Rosa genus. Moreover, you'll discover thousands of cultivars and hybrids. So, even if you're focused on red-colored roses, you're bound to choose among different shapes, sizes and styles. When planting roses, choose a location that gets at least 6 hours of sunlight a day. Doing so will encourage profuse blooming. Moreover, use fertile soil with good drainage and don't forget to stock up on compost. Every week during the growing season, give your roses at least an inch of water. If you want to encourage more blooms and get the shape you want for your plant, remember to prune your roses. Now, if you think that growing and caring for your plant takes too much work, you can choose from Flowers Across Melbourne's collection of roses. Whether you need a bouquet or a boxed arrangement, you can have your stunning roses delivered within the same day. 38. Vesuvius. Scientific name: Lychnis x arcriti. Vesuvius is a Lychnis cultivar that produces brilliantly red flowers that are as vibrant as molten lava. While their blooms have simple petals, they are still quite showy. Vesuvius flowers grow in semis, allowing them to stand out of their foliage. This look can easily add character, but the loud colors might make the plant difficult to integrate into your garden. Ideally, Vesuvius plants should be planted in a rock garden or in the middle or front of a border. Vesuvius plants will grow well in most types of garden soil as long as they are under the full sun or partial shade. If you want a bushier plant, you should pinch yours early in the season. Doing so will induce branching. Moreover, you can prevent self-seeding and encourage profuse blooming when you deadhead the plant frequently. Throughout the growing season, make sure to keep the soil evenly moist. 39. Streps. Scientific name: Strepocarpus. Natively growing in South Africa, streps are flowering plants that are popular as houseplants because of how easy they are to grow and maintain. They are often called Cape primroses because of their resemblance to the plant's flowers and foliage. Streps have long, velvety green leaves and beautiful blooms that stand out of the foliage. So, even if you have limited space indoors, you can still create a stunning windowsill garden by growing Cape primroses. Streps do not appreciate direct, full sunlight. So, choose a spot where they can get lots of filtered yet bright light. Moreover, they thrive in fertile, rich soil with good drainage. So, don't forget to stock up on humus. You need to water your streps regularly, but do so only when the soil is dry to touch. Remember that overwatering the plant will cause it to develop root rot. If you want your streps to bloom profusely, deadhead the flowers regularly. 40. Tulips. Scientific name: Tulipa. While red tulips have negative symbolism in Margaret Atwood's The Handmaid's Tale, they are generally associated with eternal love and passion. Besides, who wouldn't want to see those stunning bulbous flowers in their garden? There are hundreds of species under the Tulipa genus, and most of them are native to Turkey and Central Asia. They likely originated in Iran, eventually becoming the Ottoman Empire's symbol. If you want to have stunning tulips in spring, plant the bulbs during autumn when the soil is cool. Make sure to choose a spot that gets around 6 hours of sunlight. However, they will still survive in partial shade as long as they get the minimum amount of sun exposure. When planting tulips, choose well-draining soil mixed with compost. The soil does not have to be constantly moist, but you should mist it occasionally. Growing tulips in your own garden can be rewarding and fulfilling. However, if you want your flowers delivered to you the same day, we recommend choosing from flowers across Melbourne's wonderful collection of tulips. We hope that this video on 40 of the best red flowers has given you insight into these striking, spectacular blooms. Red is a highly attractive color that can really bring a ton of life and beauty into your garden. Even if red isn't your color, you can always add yellow, blue, green, or even black flowers to your garden for a pop of color. And don't be afraid to pick your beautiful garden flowers for a stunning arrangement inside your home. Flowers should be within our sight, appreciated, and given to our loved ones. Create a spectacular centerpiece and treat your family and friends to this breathtaking visual on the dining table. Now that you know how to care for these plants, why not try bringing some onto your grounds and see how much they can change your landscape? If you have any suggestions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. And if you have your own favorite red flower that we missed, please let us know about it, too. Thank you for watching. To God be the glory.